After the trade deadline, one of the most interesting things to watch is how newly acquired players get acclimated to their new setting. What ripple effects they have, how do they play off their new teammates, what are the potential future long-term implications of the trade, and overall, was the trade worth it? And while at face value, trading a top 6 protected first round pick for center Jakob Poeltl was a steep price to pay for the Raptors, and probably still is, there is no doubt just how impactful the Austrian big man has been since arriving in Toronto, for the second time. On defense, the towering big man has been used as a safety net for the Raptors' chaotic, scrambling style, deterring shots at the rim and being a paint presence that was desperately missing in Toronto. And on offense, Jakob has had a profound impact with his soft touch around the basket, his ability to make plays out of the short roll, and his unselfishness. He's also helped open up the game of Fred VanVleet in an incredible way as a pick and roll partner with the Raptors' sharpshooting point guard. And their connection has become a fruitful source of offense for the Raptors. And honestly, that needs dissecting. Since the departures of Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka, the Raptors have been trying desperately to find their new man, no pun intended, to man the middle. After all, the big man is an essential part of any basketball team, and if anyone tells you otherwise, they haven't been watching the game closely enough. Every NBA champion since ever has had a towering big man in the middle, who at the very least can serve as a paint presence and as that final backline resistance for any defensive lapses. Over the last 3 seasons, the Raptors have gone through numerous options. Aaron Baines, Alex Len, Khem Birch, Freddie Gillespie, and they even went as far as not playing a traditional center and forcing Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, and OG Anunoby to share the duties. The overall result of that was a defense that was far too inconsistent, too over-reliant on its perimeter players to serve as a stopgap despite having a plethora of quality defensive-minded guys. As you can see, in the 3 seasons since the departures of Gasol and Ibaka, the Raptors have lacked in the consistency department defensively. Now, it's natural to a degree for a team to go through ups and downs defensively, in an aim to find their footing, but the Raptors' ultra-aggressive style on defense, one that is built on the backbone of help and recover, was desperate for someone to provide some kind of help as the final line of defense, and Poeltl has done that. Because Jakob is mobile for his size, the Raptors can still be aggressive defensively, asking the big man to switch out onto guards, guard multiple positions, and live comfortably with the consequences, if any. At times, Poeltl can allow them to play even more aggressively, knowing the big man is back there defending the rim. And overall, it's improved their pick and roll defense, with Poeltl, who is mostly comfortable playing drop coverage, but has also shown the ability to show higher on screens. But drop is something the Raptors have really sunk their teeth in more on because of Poeltl's ability to split the difference between the roll man and the ball handler, while also full and well trusting their perimeter defenders to lock and trail, fight through screens, and force the ball handler into tough decisions. When you pair Poeltl with a good on-ball defender like Fred VanVleet or OG Anunoby or Precious Achiuwa, you reap the benefits of being a formidable pick and roll defense. It shows in the numbers too. The Raptors were ranked 17th defensively prior to Jakob arriving in Toronto this season. In the 16 games since the trade deadline, they have the 6th best defense in the entire league. Toronto allows over 115 points per 100 possessions on defense with Poeltl off the floor, good for a bottom 10 defense. With Poeltl on the floor, Toronto allows just under 110 points per 100 possessions, an over 5-point differential that would make the Raptors the 2nd best defense in the league right now. The defensive impact has been seismic, and it's relieved a lot of pressure off of the Raptors' perimeter defenders. But his impact on offense may be even more apparent. It all goes back to the pick and roll. Prior to Poeltl's arrival, the Raptors didn't run much pick and roll, ranking 23rd in frequency prior to the trade deadline. Since Jakob has arrived, the Raptors run nearly 7 more pick and rolls per 100 possessions and rank 16th in overall frequency. A pretty massive jump. The reason is obvious. The Raptors, prior to Poeltl's arrival, didn't have any rolling gravity talent. While Siakam and Scotty Barnes are more than qualified to make plays in the middle of the court in the short roll, they don't impose the same type of threat on the rim as a big man like Poeltl. And while Achiuwa or even Raptors rookie Christian Koloko in theory can do that, they still have a ways to go before developing the touch and feel necessary to be reliable as role men. With Poeltl in the fold, the Raptors have a guy who can not only make the same type of plays Siakam and Barnes can make in the middle of the court, but a big who can also put pressure on the rim himself. On this play, Siakam rejects the Poeltl screen, draws two defenders, finds Jakob rolling, and he has the touch to finish through contact. He's a massive target for the Raptors ball handlers to look for on these pick and rolls, a target that defenses have to respect when rolling to the basket. And if Poeltl doesn't roll to the rim, he can make excellent passes in the middle of the floor, from a standstill position like on this play where he finds a cutting Anunoby, or while on the short roll like this play where he finds Barnes in the dunker spot in a 3-on-2 situation. On the move, he can draw help from the weak side and find open shooters like on this play. Or if the defense is giving him too much space, he can put the ball on the floor and make a wild play like this. So Jakob can put pressure on the rim, he can put pressure on the defense with his playmaking, and maybe even more important than that, he has helped Fred VanVleet get back into rhythm with his screening ability. VanVleet hasn't seen this much daylight since coming off the bench for the Raptors. Defenders like Aaron Gordon here on this play have to fight over the 7'1" frame of Poeltl just to contest VanVleet's shot. Off the ball, VanVleet can spot up for threes with Poeltl as the screener on this flare screen. Or like this inbound play set up for VanVleet to get an open shot. Even on the ball, VanVleet can settle into his mid-range jumper much easier with Jakob as the screener, or into a pull-up three off a high screen and roll. VanVleet's shot profile consists of a healthy diet of pull-up and catch-and-shoot jumpers, and by the numbers, Poeltl has helped him get back into rhythm as a scorer after having a down shooting season prior to his arrival. VanVleet was shooting 33% on catch-and-shoot jumpers before Poeltl, and in the 16 games since, he's shooting 45% on catch-and-shoot threes. VanVleet was shooting 38% on pull-up jumpers before Poeltl. In the 16 games since, he's knocking down over 40% of his pull-ups. Poeltl has opened up VanVleet's scoring in a major way. In that, there's no question. What has proved to be equally fruitful is the way the Jakob-Fred VanVleet connection has helped open up VanVleet's own playmaking. Before the Jakob trade, VanVleet was dishing out over 6.5 assists a night. In the 16 games since, Fred is averaging 9 assists per game, which would be a career high by a wide margin. VanVleet's assist percentage on three-pointers jumps from 58% to 70% with Jakob on the floor. His two-point assist percentage jumps from 18% to 24% when paired with Jakob. VanVleet has connected on 32 assists to Poeltl since the trade, the most assists he's had to a teammate since the All-Star break. According to a source with access to second spectrum data, the VanVleet-Poeltl pick and roll is generating over 1.12 points per possession, ranking 39th among over 350 pick and roll pairings with at least 100 picks run. For comparison, that's about as good as the Luka Doncic-Christian Wood pick and roll this season, which has been very potent offensively. Some of these passes are to Poeltl himself as a roll man, like on this play. Poeltl will screen and then re-screen until Fred VanVleet has an advantage, and VanVleet, improved as a passer, is finding Poeltl with these nifty pocket passes like on this play. Or with the scoring gravity of VanVleet and the rolling gravity of Poeltl, VanVleet can drive to the basket, find a shooter on the weak side for a three. The same thing happens on this play that results in an open shot for Trent Jr. Whether it be finding Poeltl himself or finding an open shot for one of his teammates, Poeltl's presence has revitalized VanVleet's playmaking game. Just in time for the Raptors to make a playoff push. And just in time for VanVleet to look like his old self with an all-important free agency decision looming this summer for him and his trusty big man. Whatever money VanVleet gets, Poeltl might need some residuals, because his mere presence has helped open up a plethora of options for VanVleet. After searching in the wilderness for 3 seasons, finding makeshift backup centers to try and replicate what they had before, the Raptors finally have their center of the future and the present with Poeltl. The overall outlook of this team seems much better, and in general, the roster just makes more sense. And while they're far from complete, the Poeltl addition takes them one step closer to their eventual goal of boasting a championship-worthy roster. Big men. They seem important. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button and make sure to check out our other NBA videos as well. Take care.